Hey guys, it's HarleyWood. We're back at SHOT Show 2022. I'm at the Blackout Defense booth. Now, if you've been watching my channel for any period of time, you already know who they are. In fact, they sponsored an incredibly generous trigger giveaway for the Zero Trigger. If you have not seen my review of the Zero Trigger, I'm going to put a link in the description below. It performed so well, and we learned a few things that it didn't necessarily perform in the AR-10 platform.
Correct, yes.
And then you guys came out and crushed it for the AR-10 also. So they have solutions both for the AR-15 as well as the AR-10 platform, but they've got something incredibly interesting here that's causing a lot of commotion, and I want you to go through this. Brooke, what have you guys done?
Absolutely. So what we have here, it's a dual taper lock barrel mounting system, and it's an entirely new mounting system. And so this is it fully installed. I'll have to disassemble it to really show you the individual components. As you know, we make our own barrel. We also made our own extension for this.
And your rifle, which I will show some B-roll footage of, you make all of that too, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
Right?
So this is one of the things that is different, is we have a taper lock, and of course, if you want to try to...
There we go.
There we go. Okay, but that demonstrates something really interesting, right? The strength of taper locks, which is well known across other industries, hasn't been used as much in the firearms industry, though you do see some tapers on barrels and on suppressors, right? But so what we have here is we machined our own extension. It's about 25 to 30% longer.
Okay.
There's additional thread there. What's really unique about it is it has a 60-degree taper on the end.
So this taper right here.
Right, that's correct, yep. So that 60-degree taper will mate with a taper that's on the ID of this primary barrel nut. And so we can put that over. Now to really fully install it, you have to put the upper on it. It'll be compatible with any upper receiver.
Yep.
Right,
and it compresses.
So it compresses.
And it also centers the barrel.
That's correct. That's exactly what a taper does. So with a standard extension, it's a flat shoulder, and so when you torque it, you can actually move the barrel. You can rotate your ramps because it's flat. There's nothing that's keeping it concentric.
Yep.
A taper is different, so a taper will keep everything aligned.
Okay.
And so
there's another taper here.
Yes, that's correct. So we have a secondary barrel nut that threads into the primary and has its own internal taper.
So there's
that
threads
mates.
on the inside here, and these made up to that.
That's right.
And then I've got another taper. And tell me what this second taper does. Tom was explaining it to me.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It does a couple of things. It secures the entire assembly, but it also creates rigidity right over the chamber. So the chamber is where harmonics are initiated. That's where the bullet is going into the bore. It's creating that stress, and it's actually causing the barrel to
wobble,
to whip, right, is what we say. So by securing it here...
Does it ever nay-nay also, or just whip?
It just whips. So you're creating rigidity here, and you're actually transferring those harmonics into the barrel nut, which is completely secure to the upper receiver. So you're dumping those harmonics into the upper receiver instead of allowing it to travel down the length of the barrel and then get exacerbated at the muzzle end.
Pretty traditional torque settings, right? I think we said
That's
55
correct.
on the primary one,
right?
50-ish on the secondary one. But talk about the push-pull that these two now do on each other when you tighten the second one.
Right. So the primary barrel nut is pulling the barrel in, right, to the upper receiver, and then the secondary barrel nut is pulling the barrel and the primary barrel nut towards the muzzle, and that secures the threads. So you've got these opposing forces that makes it exceptionally stable, especially in the presence of heat. So if you're doing rapid firing and your barrel's heating up, the barrel nuts will heat up as well. As we all know, heat causes thermal expansion of metal, and so you'll have expansion on those threads, and so that push-pull really is what secures the entire assembly.
All right, and last but not least, talk to me about these grooves in the barrel itself.
Okay.
They're not just pretty, they serve a purpose.
They serve a purpose, and that's also related to thermal expansion. So when a barrel heats up, it has to expand into a void. It has to expand into space. If you don't have these sorts of cuts, it'll expand outward. And so what these cuts do is they break that up and they allow the barrel to expand into the space where that cut is. And that allows the barrel to expand linearly towards the bore as opposed to outward, which will then cause the barrel to rotate right or left or up or down, depending on the internal rifling and grooving.
And I mean, just more surface area, does it aid in cooling back down also, just having additional surface area?
Yes, absolutely. That's inherent in the design. And it's also a little bit thicker, so additional rigidity in that area also aids in the reduction in barrel harmonics.
That's awesome. I mean, I was hyper impressed with your trigger, and
Thank
then you
you.
see something like this, and I'm like, God, I mean, you guys.
It's different,
so,
yes.
I told you this when I came to sit down. We sat down to breakfast this morning, and somebody saw my shirt, and they're like, "Do you work for Blackout
Right.
Defense? Their stuff is amazing." So
Yeah.
you guys are really making a splash. This is awesome. When is this
Thank
going to
you.
be available to the consumer?
So we're working on a different configurations for it. I think we're going to have it in a full rifle. We're going to have it as a complete upper. One of our primary goals at the SHOT Show was to reach out to other manufacturers to modify the OD of the primary barrel nut to be compatible with other people's handguards. We know that there are a lot of popular handguards in the industry, so we want to make this modular and fit with other systems. Several weeks down the road, I think many of those options will be available.
So maybe Q2, Q3, something like that.
Yes,
hopefully.
yes,
Awesome.
absolutely.
All right, so if you guys aren't familiar with Blackout Defense, now you are. I'm going to put a link down below. Actually, I don't know that I can link directly to them because YouTube are Nazis, so
Yeah.
I'll link you to my website and you can get all their information there. Brooke, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.